Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Buckle, and welcome back to another episode of Chris Buckle's Album Club. And today with me, as usual, I have Ben.
Half of what I say is meaningless,
Well, more than
but
half.
I say
Um,
it just it's you, Julia.
Matthew,
Oh,
and Fan.
hello.
Alright, well, today, as usual, we will be doing two albums, and I'm just about to announce what those are. They were picked randomly from our list. Anonymous submissions, of course, at the end I will reveal who picked what, but today, right now, I'm going to announce albums. So, you already hear what they are?
Sure.
Alright, today's albums are, hold on, give me a sec. Today's albums are Terminal Love by Peter Ivers, whoever that is, and Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen, which obviously a very famous album they are. So, we're going to get on to people's initial impressions of this matchup. Ben, we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts on this?
Uh, okay, I have absolutely no clue what the first thing is. Um, Born to Run is obviously an album I have bought before at least once, so it's a good album. I don't know what else to say about that. Good album, solid album. Has several great songs on it. Yeah, I've heard it at least twice before. But yeah, I have no clue who Gil Ivers is, so.
Um, Matthew.
I am well acquainted with the boss. Um, Even if he is not that good of a singer, he has done albums that I've quite enjoyed. And so this one is probably one of my favorite ones, so I'm looking forward to that. As for Ivers, first time in my life I've ever heard of him, but I will give him a listen.
Fan.
So, I am familiar with Peter Ivers, super kind of wacko kind of art music guy, really bizarre. He was in Eraserhead. For anyone who's ever seen that, he's
Wait, he was in the movie?
he's the woman. Yeah, he's in the movie. He's the woman who sings "In Heaven, Everything Is Fine."
Uh,
That's him.
I haven't seen the movie. I
Um,
thought you were saying he was in a band named after the movie at first.
no, he was in the actual movie. He's
Damn.
the In Heaven woman. Super great movie, super weird. Highly recommend that. But Peter Ivers is like a guy who kind of was very like almost famous. Lots of times, kind of was around a lot of famous people. Got a lot of weird stuff. Super cool. And Bruce Springsteen, of course, one of the best. Born to Ground. I've listened to that album like 100 times. Uh, so excited for this episode.
Alright. Um, well, as for me, I have never heard of Peter Ivers. I've no clue what this album is, what it's gonna sound like, when it's from, what genre it is, other than basically what the fan just told us. So no clue going into that one. As for Born to Run, I've heard it like a gazillion times, have it on vinyl, reviewed it on the channel. Actually, it was the fourth album I ever reviewed on this channel. As my album reviews, I've been actually maybe meaning to revisit it because the quality of that video was a little shoddy, maybe, but I've I think definitely improved my commentary since then. Um, been almost 2 years now. Probably over 2 years since I wrote that video, but yeah, I mean, my opinion on Born to Run, I guess I will say when we get to the later part of the video, I obviously have mine and have given it on the channel before, so uh, no need to really rush right now for me. So, okay, anyone have anything else they want to say? No? Okay, well then without further ado, let's go listen to these albums and then we'll be back with our thoughts on them. Alright, we will back and have listened to the albums. The first album was uh, Terminal Love by Peter Ivers. And Ben, we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts on this album?
So, on the first, Terminal Love, on my first listen to the first track, Officer Toy, I was like, this is terrible. Why am I listening to this? What the hell is this? Etc. And it was like, I don't enjoy listening to this. I don't know. I found the first track very unpleasant. On my first listen to it, that's dumb. But then as I started to listen to the album more, it's like, we got some funky stuff going on in here. There was the use of I don't remember what else some of this is on, but like on My Grandmother's Funeral, for instance, or Modern Times, those are songs that stood out to me. And the songs like that, you kind of got some energy going on, got some good instrumentation going on. It really just starts with the second song, Sweet Enemy. These things just it kind of gets kind of good. I don't know. A lot of the lyrics in this are still very bizarre. Holding the Cobra, Philadelphia. I think even My Grandmother's Funeral, which I thought was the best song on here. Has some strange lyrics, even if it does seem, sincere in some weird way. I have trouble pulsing through this album, to be sure. But altogether, I most of it. But as my tone of voice indicates, I am not too sure at all. But there was some quite good instrumentation on here, at least, that was ahead of its time in its new wave sound, but it was also related to funk in a way that a lot of new wave, not all, isn't as obviously. Yeah, at times it did go kind of hard, but I will admit that my initial impression of the album was kind of negative. But it began to grow on me some. That is all. I know that that's not as substantive as I usually am, but that's all I really got to say. It's like an object of fascination more than anything else.
All right, Matthew.
I actually quite enjoyed this album. Um, I had like little expectations with this album. I didn't expect to like it. However, I actually had a fun time listening to it. It's not like I don't think there's a track from this album that it is bad per se. I actually think like most of it is like pretty solid work, and I don't know if I like have a favorite or not, but I think like it's best listened to all the way through, and yeah, I give it a thumbs up.
Fan.
I think this album is amazing. I think this is one of the strongest albums I've ever heard in my life. Uh, the musicianship is insane. It's sloppy when it wants to be, but it's yet so tight. It this album is so weird in all the best ways. It it oozes charisma, and yet it also oozes anxiety. Such an amazing combination of uh of things to really be. Lyrically, it's bizarre, strange, yet it always gets its point across. Musically, it's pretty much unmatched in terms of originality and being able to find anything like it. I hope anybody can find me anything that sounds even remotely like this because I've been looking for years and haven't found anything, including his other works. I mean, this is, in my opinion, one of the greatest albums of all time. And I don't use that loosely. I mean, this is probably top 10 material.
Alright, well, as for me, I'm going to start off by echoing what Ben said, but don't worry, I'll get to more original thoughts very soon. So I started listening to this album, and I heard the first song, I was like, wow, this is bad. I got to the second song, and my reaction was, wow, this is bad. Got to the third song, and my reaction was, wow, this is shit. And I got to the fourth song, and so on. And so I got to the last song, and it was like, wow. Well, I didn't think we would be here, but I'm seriously questioning whether or not this was worse than Destroyer, the worst album in my opinion that we've done with Album Club so far. I thought this album, like, the backings weren't bad particularly. The songwriting, I think, was mediocre. Not particularly awful, but definitely not really that good in my opinion. But the main issue I had with it was, of course, the vocals, which were just pretty horrendous. Could not stand that sound for... I mean, I listened to the album all the way through in one setting for the album club. I mean, I always try to have kind of a work ethic about these things, but some people don't. It's not always for the faint of heart listening to albums you don't like, but I can generally manage it. This album I really did not like. The vocals, it was so weird. It's just kind of a disgusting sound. I'm glad someone used the word ooze when referring to it, even though they were using it in a much different way than I would use. I think the word ooze is a very appropriate descriptor for this album, for its sound, for its just the whole album, for my reaction to just all of it. Just ooze, guys. Just ooze. Alright, well, that is it for, what was the name of this album again? Terminal Love, yes. I will say, some song of his auto-played at the end from some different album, it was slightly better. But I didn't care that much for it. Alright, the next album was, of course, the one and only Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. Kind of strange that we're doing Born to Run with a otherwise very obscure album, but still, we are. That's the thing about the album club. This is how you can tell that all pairings are actually random and I'm not just picking them, because I would never have done this. And as for impressions of Born to Run, of course we're going to start with, as usual, you, Ben.
Oh, this album is so good. It sounds so good. It has, all the E Street Band instrumentation is excellent. So to go, well, side by side, I guess. All four of the songs on side one, Thunder Road, which is the most famous of the bunch, 10th Avenue Freeze Out, which was a single, Night, and Backstreets, and especially Backstreets in my opinion. I really enjoyed that song. All great. It is... I think side 2 is a little bit weaker, even though it does feature the iconic Born to Run, which is a song that literally everyone knows. But of course, it's a classic song of wanting to escape living in New Jersey. So, escaping New Jersey, very understandable. The highways jammed with broken heroes. But I think the next two songs, She's the One and Meeting Across the River, well, they're not bad. They're all pretty decent. All the weakest spot of the album, which, is not uncommon for the middle of the side 2 to be the weakest spot. But then it closes out really well with Jungle Land, which is a very long song, but has so much going on in it. Including escaping into New Jersey. Amazing. Unlike Born to Run and Thunder Road, which is escaping from New Jersey.
I
Um,
mean, when have we not
so-
wanted to escape from New Jersey? I mean, I've been
well,
to New
it's really a
Jersey.
jungle.
I've been
You
to.
escape into New Jersey.
I've been to. I went to New Jersey once, and I wasn't there very long because I decided to escape into New York, and then it was in New York. It's like I'm tired of being in New York. Time to escape from New York, and I escaped to New Jersey. And then it was like, I'm tired of being in New Jersey, so I'm gonna escape to Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I mean, Jungle Land is this kind of gangster song. This gangster might not be the right word. Gangs, maybe related song. Um, and the uh, fall of a magic rat, who's of course a person, and his love, and his life, and his death. But also has an amazing sax solo, which really stands out. So the sax playing by Carlos Clemens, obviously is extremely excellent. But I think also just the general sound of this album, the use of violins on Jungle Land, um, but also all the horn sections in some of these other songs, like Fifth Avenue Freeze Out, especially. All this works extremely well, in my opinion. And the use of piano by Roy Bittan, also really excellent. I don't know, this album does go very hard. Is it perfect? No. Is this like a great album? Obviously.
Alright, been into the little abruptly there, but thank you. Matthew, it's your turn.
I I actually thought this album was pretty good. Um, is this in my top 30 albums of the album club? No, I wouldn't say that. I think like every track is like pretty strong. I think even every track overcomes Bruce Springsteen's probably greatest flaw is that he's not really a good singer. However, he like, but he has the I guess what the kids call the riz to overcome that. Just like how Bob Dylan isn't a very good singer, however, he has charisma to carry him, and I think that's like there are plenty of singers that both male and female who can like overcome their shortcomings as music artists. Um, I guess Born to Run is really good. I think that's like the stand-up track. I also think Thunder Room, Night, Back Streets, Meeting Across the River, 10th Avenue Freeze Out are all like pretty solid albums. Um, but yeah, this is like a really strong album.
Dan.
So this album is obviously great. I mean, it doesn't really take rocket scientists to notice that. This is an all-time classic album. I mean, if you were in the car with me in 2017 and I was driving, there's at least a 30% chance this record was on. I mean, this is a heavy rotation album for a while. See, both these albums today were heavy rotation albums for me for a while. Um, I mean, there's not too much to really say. I mean, excellent themes of escapism throughout the album. That's definitely the main theme. It's not a concept album, but if there was one overarching thing, it's escape. Escaping from where you are. You guys are saying who wouldn't want to escape New Jersey? Well, I think the answer to that question is actually Bruce Springsteen, the only guy who doesn't want to escape New Jersey. Um, I mean, Thunder Road, I think, is one of the best songs ever written. Born to Run as well. Jungle Lamp, actually, I really like 10th Avenue Freeze Out. Um, I don't think this album is perfect. I think the couple songs, there aren't any duds, but it isn't like 10 out of 10s across the board. Or like 9 out of 10s because there's like a couple maybe like 7 out of 10, which is not a bad thing. That's incredible. Like this album's batting average is amazing. Jungle Land sax solo. I had a buddy when I was in college. He swore that was the greatest sax solo ever recorded. Nothing could ever beat it. It was all time the best. And we're jazz guys, so we're sitting around listening to Coltrane, we're listening to Dexter Gordon, all these guys. He's like, no, this is the one. I mean, like I said, this album's been picked apart by everyone. It's truly amazing. Check it out.
Oh, right now I do want to say as a disclaimer before anyone gets the wrong idea. I kind of poked fun at New Jersey Vale, but when I was there, it always seemed like a pretty chill place. I honestly probably came out with a better impression of it than Pennsylvania or New York, actually, of what little I saw of it. Just no actual hate, really, particularly to New Jersey. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the album, not the state. The album, yes, I quite enjoy this album. I feel like it's probably like objectively looking like like mathematically speaking. I mean, you can't really look objectively, but if I was to assign scores to all the songs and then mathematically average from those scores, this would probably be the best Springsteen album. It's not, I don't think, quite my favorite Springsteen album. It's probably my second, but I'm just partial to the River. Even though the second LP of that has quite a bit of slack on it compared to Born to Run, I really like the kind of more up-tempo style and stuff, just the vibes on like the first LP of that one. Born to Run itself is probably a more holistic, like, consistent gradual walk than that, though, and then Springsteen's other albums I've maybe gotten into the habit of maybe critiquing Springsteen's albums a little too much, and now I'm trying to remember that I don't have this kind of back catalog of reviews of all the other ones to rely on here. I need to stay focused on the one. So Born to Run, it's great. I do like Mean Across the River personally. She's One is also pretty good. It's the weakest song on the album, but it's pretty good. The real highlights, of course, though, well, I guess every other song, my three personal favorites are, of course, Born to Run, the song, what else is there to say about Willie? And then Thunder Road and Backstreets. Backstreets is great. It's right up there with over two. Thunder Road, the ending instrumental section of that, like after the lyrics end, and there's just kind of an instrumental break with them doing kind of a chorus. Again with Clarence and Roy Baton on piano and sax. That part's great. It's like maybe the best part of the entire album. It's like, and they did a really good version of that on the No Nukes console too. But it's I always think that the ending of the fourth song, Thunder Road, that's like, the album peaked right there, but that's not to say anything after that was bad either, because most of it was great. All of it was good, at least. But the ending of Thunder Road, I was once driving in a thunderstorm. It was a really bad thunderstorm. It was raining really heavily, and that was just playing full blast, like unironically, and it was just like, it was epic, dude. Peak song, Night, that's good. 10 Heaven Freeze Out, that's great. Really great all around. Really the most consistent package by Springsteen. Is just, as I said, I prefer with a tiny bit more, partly because saying your favorite Bruce Springsteen album is like, Born to Run is like saying your favorite piece of food is like bread, or like your favorite food category is grain. Yeah, you gotta have it. It's great. You gotta have it. It's very important. And it led to a lot of other great stuff too. But it's just, it is kind of, to some degree, what, like, the prototypical Springsteen album is in everyone's minds. He'll do most of these themes. Some of them he'd already done before. All of them he'd basically do again on songs, but this is kind of the blueprint, the kind of ideal every other Springsteen album wants to live up to, either before or after. And in that way, every other Springsteen album starts to look like slightly, either slightly spicier versions of it, or slightly more undercooked versions of it, or underseasoned, or whatever. And it's just, it's the simple, the original, the classic. It's right after he kind of perfected the formula on the first two albums. And then he did it once, and then he gave us several great albums again, but this was like the first time he did it. And everything he did afterwards was going to be living in its footsteps. So yeah, great album. Peak. It's peak. Alright, well, moving on. We're going on to which album we liked better. Well, I have no clue how this is gonna go, honestly. But I think I know how fans voting, and I think I know how I'm voting, but that's about it. We're starting with you, Ben. Which album did you like better?
Baby, we were born to run.
Matthew.
I'm going with the boss.
Fan.
I'm going with my guy Peter Ivers on this one.
And I am, of course, voting for Born to Run. So that's 3-1 in Born to Run's favor. Unanimous decision was not reached. Strangely, I thought it was going to be maybe at one point, but I mean, not once we start talking today, right now, but still, it is what it is, I guess. I can at least now say I know who Peter Ivers is. Alright, now we're going on to who picked what album. Before we go on, anyone want to take a guess?
I'm taking a shot in the dark, while dancing in the dark, and say fan pick Terminal Love.
I think that Chris picked Born to Run.
Okay, well, drum roll please. Alright, Terminal Love was picked by Fan. I don't think, anyone thought otherwise. And Born to Run was picked by both Fan and Matthew. So, I believe Matthew picked it first, because I believe Matthew picked it before Fan actually joined, but, both of them did pick it at some point or another. Maybe I'm wrong about when Matthew picked it, I'm not sure, but, they've both picked it, so. Alright, well, that's about it for today's episode. Thank you everyone for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. That helps me a lot. And now, I'm pulling out of here to win!